Good evening. Tonight I'd like to expound upon what Dawnforge Cast talked about in his last DM Basics video. He used the analogy of parenting to relate to DMing, and I think it's a very relevant topic. One of the things that he didn't say, which I was sort of waiting for, was that both parents and GMs often say that it's a really difficult task to take on, but it's really rewarding in the end. And this saying is just in place because it's, generally true. And I think it's sort of intimidating, and it is difficult for a very good reason, which is it's a set of skills that you really haven't learned before you really started. I mean, people come into the hobby as players usually, and so that's what you know, and you have to learn a whole different skill set in order to run a game. And I mean, it's the same thing when you grow up. You're a child and you're experiencing being a child, and then taking care of children as a parent. It's a completely different experience, and difficult, especially at first, but it's not one that can't be overcome. And I think that one thing that intimidates some people, especially at the beginning, is that they feel out of control when running a game, or parenting for that matter. But parenting is a less optional thing. You can't just drop it, while you can with GMing. But I would say to someone who says that their game feels out of control, well, if it's your first or second time GMing, you might reasonably say that's because it's actually working. You're doing your job correctly, because games don't really feel controlled. It's not really a feeling that ever totally comes up. You, as a GM, will be reacting a lot of the time to what your players do, and this is really sort of the point, which isn't to say you can't prepare for it, and you can't have events that are going to happen. It's just, you have to react to what people do because they're going to surprise you. Just, Dawnforgecast said, players will always mess up your plans, and I think that is the truest thing I've heard all week, actually. So you will be reacting a lot, and again, that's really not a bad thing because you're giving your players a good game and working with them to tell a story, not against them, and that's sort of a difficult concept to slide into at first. One of the things I do in regards to this matter is I use my NPCs, and I use them a lot because NPCs are there, and a lot of the time as players we forget about them, or we just try and use them as it's relevant to us. But NPCs that are well developed will react and do things of their own will, so to speak, and that's independent from the players. And so something that an NPC does, well, you're not necessarily forcing a player to do that. I mean, because the players can react or not as they choose, but they also have to deal with, okay, NPCs are doing things, and the world is going on without them, and this game might be centered on them, but they still have to be aware of other people. And this is something that I do for all my games, and my most current game, actually, I have my notebook here, and it's about a third of the notebook. That's my character creation notes, and that's all it is my NPCs. And this isn't all of it because not all of it's on paper, some of it's on my computer. And I I don't have really any sessions planned out. I know I have about 15 sessions that this game is going to run, just by how we do it calendar-wise. And I have 4 sessions like planned out, and I don't expect to get to all of them. It's just I have planned out things that can happen if the NPCs just don't do anything, and just wait and react to that. But the most important thing is that I have these NPCs here with me, and they are going to do the heavy lifting in my game. So I know this was kind of rambly, but I hope I've given some insight into the whole GMing experience. Talk to you later.